All right, this week I'm putting in the subfloors and my nailers across the roof ribs. This is the Promaster. This is Sam's van. Now, Sam is very tall, and being tall in a Promaster means you cannot put any insulation on the floor. So what we've decided we're going to do is we're going to glue 1/2-inch plywood right to the high spots, every high spot on this floor. I'm not putting any foam or any kind of insulation in the low spots. I want that airflow underneath that subfloor. So now you're literally raised up. It's about 1/4 inch. You're going to have 1/4 inch airflow under the plywood, 1/2-inch plywood all the way across. We've got insulation to contend with. We've got floorboards to contend with. We've got finished flooring to contend with. Where are we going to use our precious inches? We decided up on the ceiling is the best place. Now we have no insulation under this flooring. It's just going to be plywood. I'm going to explore the possibility of spraying lizard skin under the van as it's a ceramic insulation and sound deadener, or some type of a product like lizard skin. Maybe we can just go about this from the reverse angle, thinking outside of the box. We can't insulate inside. Maybe we can give you some protection on the underside. That would help with rust as well. When you start to approach this flooring, how are we going to cut this? What are we going to do? We have a 10-foot CNC router table, computerized. We just haven't had time to put that together. I don't have the room just yet until I get my pleasure way out of here. When the CNC router table is up and running, it's a massive router table. It takes a 4x8 sheet. We'll be able to do our wall panels with window cutouts. I'll be able to get a nice floor cut for the Promasters and the Sprinters and the Ford Transits. We'll have that all dialed in. There's a lot of parts of the van build that I want to do by hand. I think there's a certain aesthetic quality and it just imparts some soul into the build. But there are other parts of the build where I think we could certainly get away with some computer cut pieces just for the sake of expediency. We're still on cardboard here. When you get into this van floor, you got to familiarize yourself with what the hell's going on. And in these Promasters, there's an awful lot going on as compared to a Sprinter. A Sprinter's pretty smooth and square. Not so with the Promaster. The Sprinter tapers up like this up at the ceiling, while the Promaster tapers at the floor, ever so slightly. Where the floor meets these side walls, you've got to take that into account. If you run your flooring, your subfloor, all the way to the side wall, you're going to cause it to raise up, and it will not be touching your high spots. Let me show you what I'm talking about here with this, this curve in the floor. I got this piece of wood here, and it's on the high spots of the floor, all right? Now, as I push it towards the wall, you'll see it go up. See, it goes up. See that? Now, if you run your plywood all the way to the floor, it doesn't touch your high spots. So the glue has got nothing to hold to. Now, yes, as I said, I could have just chamfered this off and it would have slid in. But I preferred to make the plywood go right to where it touches. And then I'll come in with another piece on top. Right here is a metal rise. There's a crease in the floor here. It's a logical place to terminate your flooring. Carry it straight across. It runs into these these final pillars down the end of the van. You let the van talk to you. Let the van tell you where you should put your stuff. This first panel back here has got the wheel wells. We've got these jogs and cuts to make. So I started out by making a cardboard template. Okay. I came over here, and of course, I'm stopping my floor right back here, right along this edge, right? And I come in and I scribed it all around where my scribe and my cutting wasn't as accurate as I wanted it to be. I came back in and filled it in with tape, and I got this just the way I want it. And I thought to myself, do I have to do this all over again on that side? Because in a Sprinter van, the wheel wells are not symmetrical. You can't just take this template and put it over here. The wheel wells, believe it or not, have a front and a back and a left and a right. So you do have to make full separate templates in a Sprinter. In this van, no. This is one of the Bennies. This fits like a glove. Put it right over on the other side. I just flipped it and it fits. Great. Okay, knowing that, I got this half template and I transferred these measurements to a full template. And the reason I did that is because you still need to know the logistics of getting this large full sheet that you've cut so beautifully. What if you got it all cut up and you can't get it to lay in one sheet? That could happen. In this case, it didn't. But it gave me the opportunity to see what one full sheet, 4 feet across, is going to look like. 72 3/8 is what we have left to right here. So once I got this positioned where I want it, and I'm happy with it, transferred it to the plywood. And then we put the plywood in. Then I said to myself, well, I was able to flip my template this way, and I got that side. Whoa, can I flip it that way and get my other sheet right off this template? Let's see. Of course, I didn't plan for this, so the camera's in the way. But you guys are used to me screwing up like that. Hold on. I take you on this ride frequently. Yeah, I'm a real maestro when it comes to camera work. And sure enough, the Promaster wheel wells are symmetrical. They fit. So I only had to make 1/4 of a template and flip it and flop it and flop it and flip it. It worked out really well. In doing so, I learned by observation that as you move through the van, the width changes. Now let me show you this. You're not going to believe this. Again, I'm going to pick you up. You're going to go flying. Back here, you've got the wall coming up to this point, right? Now, if you look at this, the side wall is on line with this flange that's on the wheel well. They're lined up, they're flush. See that? So this was old Bill that was working on the back of the van here. But up here, we must have had Mikey. And Mikey did not bring his sidewall flush to the flange. Mikey brought his out a little further. You see that little jog Mikey put in? Why'd he do that? So the distance here, let me get this out of the way. The distance between Mikey's channels is less than the distance between old Bill's. So at that Ram factory, this is what's going on. You got two guys only about 6 feet apart, but they're not talking to one another. So my template that I started with back there, I used this same template and I cut the same piece of wood knowing full well it wouldn't fit left to right because old Mikey busted his channels out a little further. I made the template anyway. I made the wood cuts the same way, and then I came back in and sliced these sides. All right, so this is the rear of the van, okay? This is that back edge right along that little lip, and here's my angles to the side wall. I'm shortcut. Here's my wheel wells, all right, going forward. Now back here, obviously, where the width runs inside the wheel wells, it's the same distance, okay? 55 3/4, 55 3/4. But back here, we're 72 3/8. But up here, because of those funny, we're 71. So we had to short it 11/16 on each side. We're 72 3/8, and here we are 71. Right here, this C-pillar curves down and into and under the width of our floorboard here. So we're nice and square up to here, but right here, we've just got to trim away this little bit, notch it out. See this right here, this piece? This curves down on both sides. It also helps to put down some tape markings as you're working. This tape line here, for instance, that's to remind me that I'm going to be running a few wires from under the galley. They're going to run under the floor, right across this opening. We have to bridge that opening. And then they're going to go right into this B-pillar, which houses our upfitters module to make some wiring connections. What I need them for is my glycol pump and my ignition sensor wires for the Freedom eGen electrical system. They need to know when the engine has started. My glycol pump operates only when the engine is running, and the Freedom needs a sensor to tell it that the engine is on and it can start the voltage regulation. So that wire is going to run right under the floor. A couple of 12-2s I'll put down so it can handle the voltage, and we'll make sure we don't put any screws through there. Over here, I've marked out approximately where the shower goes. And the only reason I'm doing this, I'm coming in with full flooring all the way across the van. It'll be completely full of subfloor. But I'm not going to glue under this spot. See, it says it in English, no glue. That way, when we finally lock into that shower pan, which is further down the road, we can cut that flooring away, because I want the shower pan to sit on the bare van floor. The scuffing, besides taking the paint off to give me a better adhesion to the bare metal, this scuffing is going to give me a mechanical hold as well. It's going to give me some tooth that adhesive can grab onto and grab onto the plywood, and I'll get some of a mechanical bond as well as the adhesive bond. And for those of you wondering, I will make sure that my adhesive, which is polyurethane based, not water based, will cover all of the scraping and scuffing that I do. So it is in effect the same as respraying with primer to protect it from rust. And I think what I'll do is, once all these things are in and cured, I may just go down the side of each one and give them a little spray of primer just to be safe. I'm gluing and screwing 3/4 inch plywood strips to the underside of the van roof supports. These will serve two purposes. First, it gives me a good solid continuous surface to mount my decorative cross supports for the system. But more importantly, it adds depth to the otherwise shallow ceiling space in the Promaster. I need adequate space above the cross support for a layer of Thinsulate, a layer of Reflectix, a layer of heavy mass vinyl, and finally my tongue and groove ceiling boards. You'll see that system being installed in an upcoming video. The Humble Road community sends many requests for a visit to the Humble Road van studio. If I said yes, I'd be so busy acting as a tour guide that no vans would get built. But this viewer, traveling from Nashville, was staying 1.5 miles away, and she wanted to show me her van and explain what her plans are. Hello, Vicky.
George, it's really you.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it.
What do you got going on in here?
Well, we got a lot going on and nothing's finished, but
I know that song.
yeah. So we've got a refrigerator, it's hooked up, but no cabinets yet.
What type of fridge is that?
It's a Vitrifrigo.
Good choice.
And the compressor is separate, so it can be very narrow.
Nice.
So this will not be like this. I was just sleeping on my way here. I traveled from Nashville. So.
Cool. So you're not putting a futon here?
No, I'm going to put a little bench that will pull out this way for guests to sleep in.
Nice.
Yeah, so a small bench here, and then there'll be a cabinet with an angle like a little L, where I'll have the sink And then this will be the bathroom wall, which will only be 24 inches.
That's all you need.
Yeah, but with the doors open, it'll be 32. And then over the sink will be a cabinet that when you open the cabinet door, there'll be a mirror so you can brush your teeth in the mirror. And
cool.
This is my invention. I've never heard of it anywhere.
Oh, look at that.
And I don't have the patent yet.
That's a separator.
This is a
so cool.
A urine diverter with a separate composting.
Nice.
It will have a gray tank, but this is aluminum. Do I sit on the toilet for your video? I don't know, George.
Nah.
We don't need to do that. But it does hold weight.
That's good.
And it's floating. It's floating. There's nothing
nice.
underneath
Oh yeah,
there.
look at that.
It's floating.
Yeah, very good engineering.
And that's the lemonade stand. So when you take a shower, the shower will come this way.
Right.
And so you don't have to move the toilet in and out. And my bed will be back here.
Oh, okay.
And
so that'll be a fixed bed, and you'll have a garage under it?
yes, fixed bed.
Yep.
This step up. And then this will be more of a narrow counter over
Nice.
here.
Wow, you got some
Cabinets.
nice electronics in there.
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's great. Good job. Very nice. Yeah, you're getting there.
Thanks to George. I know it's not your level of detail yet.
Hey, as long as you get it done and you get out on the road.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Well, it was nice meeting you, Vicki.
Nice meeting you, George. I appreciate you taking the time.
You can call me anytime if you have questions.
I will. You're our hero, you know.
Oh, thank you. Lee, help your mother finish her van, would you please?